Hey everyone, Zaniverse here. You might think that the scenery is a lot different than my usual spots, but what can I say? The LEGO video got copyright claimed. It's only been 4 months since the last Steam NextFest, and Gabe's already back at it. As always, I went ahead and found a variety of promising demos during the event, and I'm gonna tell you what I found so good about them now, in no particular order. First off is a game called Deadlink. It's a neon-lit cyberpunk FPS with roguelike elements set in a dystopian Japan. Mechanically, it's quite similar to RoboQuest, which I covered a few weeks back on the channel. You start every run by selecting one of the currently 1 classes. 4 are planned though. Runs consist of going through a series of sectors, each coming with their own objective, which primarily is killing all the enemies inside. You do this by using a variety of guns and gadgets that you can upgrade both in and outside your runs. You've got your main weapons, which consist of a shotgun and a rocket launcher, as well as a grenade, a grappling hook, and some kind of force push that stuns all enemies that happen to be in front of it. The grenade also marks enemies, meaning that they'll turn into a mini loot explosion made up of ammo, armor, and health, much like Doom Eternal. After completing a sector, you get the choice of what path you want to take next, which also gives you a predetermined reward, whether it be credits, health, or implants. Implants are this game's version of upgrades, which come with the caveat of only activating when you activate a certain skill, like swapping weapons or using the grappling hook. After dying or finishing a run, you can use your credits to buy permanent upgrades. This one doesn't have a release date yet, so I assume it'll come out anywhere in late 2022 or early 2023. Selaco is a game that has its combat heavily inspired by Fear, along with a mix of more classic FPS games like Quake and Doom, featuring chaotic shootouts, brutal destructibility, and clever AI that will coordinate together in order to flush you out of any corners you may be hiding in. The demo is primarily set inside of a futuristic office building. The close quarter action set pieces allow for some of the most fun and straight up good feeling combat encounters in any game in recent memory. This game's AI work is honestly really impressive, with them being aware of where you, their enemy, and all their squad mates are at the same time. They'll work together to flush you out, rush you when you run out of ammo, and throw grenades to forcefully make you move from the cover you so desperately need to survive. This is a game in which you'll actually need to use your brain to beat your opponents, which is in all honesty quite refreshing in between all the mindless Ubisoft and Activision schlock. The full game is currently scheduled for release in 2255, so go ahead and write that one down on your Google Calendar if you think this looks interesting. GoldenEye 64. Wait, that ain't right. Agent 64, Spies Never Die is basically just that, a GoldenEye 64 homage, and it's actually pretty damn good. The first level sees you fight your way through a high-rise skyscraper, saving civilians and defusing bombs. The difficulty level you play on decides how many objectives you have to complete in each level, as well as how hard the game actually is. There's 2 ways of aiming. The classic kind of aim-assisted snapping to your target aim, and this very wonky precision aiming, which is so tedious it's honestly not even worth using. This one doesn't have a set release date yet, but the developer has stated it will release sometime this year. Angerfoot is a game which describes itself as a lightning-fast action FPS, where the only thing that's harder than your ass-kicking feet are the ass-kicking beats. And after playing through the demo, it's hard not to agree. I mean, what did you expect? It's published by Devolver Digital, it's bound to be good. This game is essentially Hotline Miami, but instead of being a top-down shooter, it's a first-person shooter. And instead of taking on the Russian Mafia, you're taking on a whole bunch of cartoony characters. And knife-wielding tentacles? Sure, why not? This is another one of those games with an absolutely insane premise, which usually wouldn't speak to me, but its balls-to-the-wall action gameplay managed to captivate me as soon as I saw friends stream it to me on Discord at 15 FPS. It's a pretty simple concept. You live in Shit City. Yeah, that's what it's actually called. After taking out a gang of criminals, you in turn piss off a group of corrupt cops, who steal Arthur, your prized pair of sneakers. This naturally means you go on a killing spree, taking out a whole heap of anthropomorphic criminals. You don't die in one hit, so it's at least a little less frustrating than Hotline Miami. You can use doors to kill enemies, as well as unlocking new pairs of sneakers which give you all sorts of bonuses like getting a new bullet for your gun every time you kill someone with it. The final level has you fight against a helicopter, barehanded. Or barefoot? Whatever. which after the first 2 stages turns into a medieval mace-wielding minivan. Again, no set date yet, but 2023 is the current release window. Midnight Fight Express is an isometric beat/shoot 'em up where you plunge headfirst into the criminal underworld, taking out various gangs of goons. Just gotta wait for the game to load, it seems. Alright, I'll be real with you, I never got to play this one, on account of it not wanting to fucking start. But you gotta admit, the gameplay trailer looks pretty cool. This one's slated for release on August 22nd, 2022. And this is a rhythm-based first-person shooter, sort of like Bullets for Minutes. You play as a demon, fighting your way through hell, killing all sorts of diabolical creatures on an infernal journey to achieve the purest of all goals, vengeance. I didn't write that, it was on the Steam store page. And after having played it for about an hour, I found out one thing, that I really don't have rhythm. Like, holy fuck, I don't think I've been this bad at a new game in a while. I kept clicking too early, and then I got stuck in this loop of clicking in the same early spot every damn time. But there are some pretty weird design choices that I just don't like. Firearms need to be reloaded after X amount of shots. The reloads, however, take so long that you'll miss out on 1 or 2 notes, meaning that you'll have to find your own rhythm all over again. And if you're already bad at the game, this is only multiplied by the fact that being at low health muffles the music, making it harder to flow with the rhythm. If I ever actually managed to get a decent combo going, it's because I was hyper-focusing on the actual notes, thus drowning out the music, which is honestly pretty fucking good. It's not a bad game, I'm just bad at it. Perish is a stylish 4-player first-person roguelite, where you fight against hordes of creatures on the scorched sands as you attempt to make your way to Elysium. You are dead. Well, sort of. You're stuck in purgatory, and it just so happens that the only way out is through violently killing your way through dungeon after dungeon, killing monsters while completing objectives, like collecting trinkets and burning down temples. I don't know about you, but I've always wanted to commit domestic terrorism in 1700s Egypt. I played this for about an hour, and while it's a little rough around the edges, there's definitely potential to create a solid roguelite to play with your friends. This one doesn't have a set release date yet. Ripout is what I imagine a more horror-esque spin on Doom would be. I've had this on my wishlist since last year, and when I finally got around to playing the demo, I wasn't able to because the event ended. Fun fact, you don't need to delete your demos after NextFest ends. You fight your way through procedurally generated derelict ships filled with a variety of body-morphing mutants, a bit like Dead Space. I talked to Dave Oshry about it and he had this to say.
Demo was okay, it had some cool ideas. Very early though.
And if he likes it, it must be good. Trepang² is a game which has been in a demo state for what feels like half a fucking decade at this point. I swear, I remember playing this all the way back in 2020. And over all those years, one thing has remained the same in every iteration of the demo. The core gameplay in this game might be some of the most fun I've ever had in any game, period. You play as a genetically enhanced mercenary who's capable of slowing down time and turning invisible. Think John Wick, but even deadlier, seriously. This game is a dumb fun power fantasy, taking on hordes of enemies as they attempt to stop your carnage. You take on the Horizon Corporation, a private military company that's covered from head to toe in all sorts of morally questionable businesses, quite similar to Twitch streamers living in LA. Kick, shoot, and slide your way through the intro of Trepang², slated for release for the latter half of this year. Hey, thanks so much for watching to the end of this video. Sorry that this one took a while to finish, I just kept finding new demos and kept adding to it over time. As always, if you enjoyed, leave a like, a comment, and subscribe, as I have 158 more videos scheduled for release between now and the inevitable heat death of the universe. A special thank you to Vexas for voicing Dave Oshry. The real Dave Oshry was predisposed on account of having to run a fucking company. As always, I wish you all the best. I've been Xeniverse. Till next time.